So firstly, importing the unknown modules. Starting the server in multiple terminals. Starting server outside the My App. Accessing wrong URL. Missing function call. Importing unknown file. Okay, error in this manner. There you can see error colon cannot find module expresses. So when you see this line, it cannot find module and then the module name. So it means that it's not able to find that module, right? So either you haven't installed that module or so the module name that you are trying to import does not exist. Okay, so here you can see we have expresses, right? So there's no such module as expresses. Actually, there's a spelling mistake there, right? So appropriately, we have to correct that. Okay, so there you can see when we are trying to import a module, say express, we are actually trying to import express, but we have written a spelling mistake in the module name, say expresses. Okay, so that's the reason we got that error. So if you correct it appropriately in this manner, so then it will start working. Okay, so whenever you find the error as cannot find module, check whether you have installed those modules and check whether the module name that you have provided is appropriate or not, the spelling of the module name. Okay. Clear? So this is one common error. So another common error is starting the server in multiple terminals. Okay, in such scenario, you will get an error saying address already in use 3 colons and 3000. So it means that, so let's say you have in a terminal, you have opened and you have run the server. So there the server is running on the 3000 port. And then now you have opened a new terminal. So there again you are trying to start the server on the same port. So then you will get an error in this manner saying address already in use. Okay, let's see the scenario. There you can see we have terminal. So we have run node.mon index.js. So there's a server running on 3000. Now in a new terminal, so again basically you went into my app and now you're running the server. You're trying to start the server. So already a server, it has started on the port 3000, right? So again if you try to start another server on the port 3000, you will get an error. So what you have to do, you have to stop the server in the previous terminal, you have to kill that and then come back. Again you have to run this the node.mon index.js command here and then it will start. Okay, clear? So you have to kill the server in the previous terminal and then you have to start the server in the new terminal. Okay, so now let's see the scenario. Okay, so here in one terminal, I'm in my app directory. So now I've run node index.js. Okay, so there you can see the server is running at 3000 port. Now let's say I've opened a new terminal. Okay, so now in this terminal, so let's say again I've tried node. So firstly I have to go to my app. Okay, so then I've run node index.js. Okay, so in that case, so there you can see here in the error, address already in use. So the reason is in the previous terminal, there you can see the server is already running on the port 3000. Now again we are trying to run the server on the same port. So that's the reason we are getting this error. So how do we rectify? Go to the previous terminal, stop the server by clicking Ctrl+C together. Okay, so then come back here. Now you can run it. So appropriately the server will start. Okay, clear? So we understood this, right? So here, since we have the previous terminal available, so we went there. So we have clicked on Ctrl+C, we stopped it, and we were able to again start it. Okay, now let's say you have closed the previous terminal. Okay, so but you haven't stopped the server, but you closed the previous terminal. So then what do we do? Okay, so in that scenario, firstly click on Ctrl+C in the current terminal, so it will stop. So then, okay, there you can see, so the server, that entire thing has stopped. Okay, so now run the command lsof-i:3000. So this will actually list the process running on the port 3000. That :3000 is the port number. Okay, so whichever port you are trying to access, you can specify that there. So lsof-i:3000. Okay, so then it will list the process that are being run on the port 3000. So there you can see. In that there is something called PID. So PID is nothing but the process ID. So the server that is running on the port 3000, the corresponding process ID is, say here it is 9841. Okay, so we have that ID. So make a note of this ID. So next, run the command kill -9 and provide the process ID. Okay, so then what will happen? The process running on the port 3000, the process of that corresponding process ID will be killed. So like this, you can run the server again. Okay, clear? So now another common error is starting the server outside the My App. So if you try to start the server outside the My App directory, so then you might get an error in this manner saying throw error and so on, right? Cannot find module index.js, right? So here basically it means that so you're not present in the My App directory. So there you can see cannot find module. So it's saying that /index.js. So it's not able to find the file index.js in the part 3 directory. Okay, so when you get an error in this manner, so it means that you're trying to start the server outside the my app directory. So you have to appropriately navigate to the my app directory, so there you can see, and then run node index.js. So then appropriately the server will start. So in case if you are using nodemon, so then you will get a message like this saying usage of nodemon and so on. So it means that you're trying to start the server outside the my app directory. So appropriately check for the directory and then navigate to the my app directory and then start the server. Okay, clear? So another common error is accessing the URL. Okay, so there you can see we are actually trying to access a URL, say /book/1. Okay, so in such scenario you will get an error in this manner saying that cannot get /book/1. Okay, so here basically, so the API that we want to handle is in that the path is /book/:book ID. But when we are sending the request, right? So there you can see we have written /books. There are two S, right? There's a double S, then /1. So here basically the path that we are providing is in the URL that we are trying to request is wrong. Okay, so we have to appropriately correct the path. So when the path that you're providing is wrong, when the URL is wrong, so in that case you will get that saying that cannot get so and so. Okay, so you have to correct that and then you will get the result. Okay, so when you're getting a HTML result in this manner saying cannot get so and so path, so then you have to check for the path that you have provided in the request. Okay, check whether it's matching with the one that you're trying to handle. So then appropriately you can correct it and you'll get the result. Okay, so another possible mistake is missing the function call. So when you're doing express, right, when you want to create a server instance, you do express, right? If you miss the function call, so then you will get an error saying that app.get is not a function. Okay, in this manner. So basically here what's happening is we actually first have to create an instance, right? So for that we have to call the express function, right? So whereas here what we have written, we have missed that parenthesis, we have missed the function call. So then basically we are assigning express to a variable, we are not calling the function. So when we call the express function, it will return an object which will contain various methods. But by writing app equal to express, when we miss the function call, we are just directly assigning the express to the app. So in the app, there won't be all these methods get and then this put and all. So then you will get an error in this manner. Okay, so saying that cannot is not a method. Okay, so you have to appropriately update it as a function call. Okay, so then you will get the result. Okay, clear? So another possible mistake is importing an unknown file. Okay, so then you will get an error in this manner saying that SQLite error, no such table. So when you see an error in this manner, there are two possible mistakes. One is you're trying to access an unknown table from the database. Okay, let's say there is no book table in the database. Okay, so then you might get an error in this manner. Or another possible mistake is we haven't handled the error appropriately using the try-catch block. Okay, so let's see the error one. Okay, so here what we are doing is when we are trying to import the database, so the name that we have provided for the database is wrong. Okay, so there you can see it's Goodreads. There is a double S, right? So that's the reason. So when you try to import that database, a new database with that name will get created. Actually, we wanted to access goodreads.db, which is above there. Okay, but we have written the name as Goodreads with a double S, right? So then a new file will get created there, which will obviously by default be empty. So now if you're trying to run an SQL query on the book table, so then what will happen? You will get an error saying that no such table because the database is empty. So when you get an error in this manner, so you have to appropriately check the name of the database that you're providing and check whether the table that you're trying to access is already present in the database or not. Okay, since no table is present in that goodreads.db file, right? So that's the reason we got the error. Okay, so you have to check whether the database name that you have provided is appropriate or not and check the tables whether they are present in the database or not, in case if you get an error saying no such table. Okay, clear? So there you can see in our case, so the database name that we have provided is wrong. So if you correct it, so appropriately, you will get the result. Okay. So another possibility here is that we haven't properly handled the error using the try-catch block. Okay, so there you can see in that case, you will get a error in this manner saying promise rejections and so on. So in such scenario, so you have to appropriately place the entire SQL query and running the SQL query part of code inside the try-catch block. Okay, so if you properly handle the error using the try-catch block, it will just throw a warning. Okay, there you can see we have written try off and then we have appropriately mentioned the entire part of code inside the try block. And in case of an error, it will go into the cache and then appropriately we are specifying the DB error and we are showing the message. So it will just come as a warning rather than an error when we use the try-catch block. So we already are familiar with the try-catch, right? So we have to make use of that. Okay. So, in today's session, we have covered few common errors and we have seen how to debug those common errors, right? So, the first one is importing unknown modules. Then you can see the starting the server in multiple terminals. Then we have seen about starting the server outside the My App. So, there are other, right, where we are trying to access the wrong URL or missing the function call or importing the unknown file, right? So, we have seen appropriately how to handle these common errors, right? In the next session, we'll cover some more common errors and we'll see how to debug them.